We have updated vaccine polling data from Monmouth University. We now know that roughly 1 in 5 Americans still do not want the COVID vaccine, and those numbers are heavily and significantly led by Republicans. 43% of whom still do not want the COVID vaccine and do not plan to get it if they can avoid it. I guess the if they can avoid it suggests something about if it became a requirement for a job or to do something they want to do, maybe they would get it. Overall, the good news is that the number who don't want the vaccine is down, but it's not really down dramatically. Earlier in the pandemic, we saw significant reductions in vaccine hesitancy. It's really leveling out now. The numbers are stunningly partisan. If you look at numbers by party, 43% of Republicans do not want the vaccine. 22% of independents do not want the vaccine. And just 5% of Democrats do not want the vaccine. If it were all Democrats, we would get to herd immunity. If it were all independents, we might. It would be 78% do. And if it were up to only Republicans, if everybody believed what Republicans believe, we would not get to herd immunity. Although maybe eventually we would, because so many of them would get sick that they develop natural immunity. That's a different story, though. Many would die in that process. Now, also interesting is that the racial gap seems to almost have completely gone away, at least according to this poll. 22% of whites and 20% of people of color don't want the vaccine. That is now essentially statistically equal. There was a point in time at which there was more of a gap led by vaccine hesitancy among the Black American community. So the big takeaway is, if 80% of the country plans to get vaccinated, we can actually reach something approximating herd immunity, which medical science believes, again, it depends on how contagious is whatever variant becomes dominant and how sort of homogenous versus heterogeneous is vaccination. Somewhere between 70 and 85% vaccination would be required to achieve herd. However, one thing we have to remember is that vaccine opposition is not homogenous. It varies greatly in different parts of the country. The Massachusetts gap right now is a really good example. 92% of those in Massachusetts want the vaccine. Mississippi is already at the point where tons of vaccination appointments are going unfilled. Demand is lagging. So you could end up with a situation where some states are sort of extra vaccinated, well beyond what's required for herd immunity, and other states never reach it. And you have constant small clusters and outbreaks, which will just extend the pandemic. The sad part is that because some people don't develop immunity even when you get vaccinated, remember, it's a 95% effective vaccine. Some others can't get the vaccine because of specific medical conditions. You will have a situation where those who could get it but just choose not to will give the virus to some of the folks who either got the vaccine but didn't develop immunity, couldn't get the vaccine because of medical condition, and some of them will die. That's the decision of anybody who could get it and chooses not to, is that you are increasing the odds that somebody dies as a result of your actions. I'm glad I'm not participating in that. Other information from the poll, approval for Joe Biden so far is really looking pretty good. 54% approval for Biden. Remember that Donald Trump never got to 50% approval even once during his presidency. 62% approval for Joe Biden's handling of the virus. That's up from 57% in March. There was the idea that it was up in March, but it's going to go down as Biden becomes the new normal. COVID approval for Biden continuing to go up. For comparison, Biden at 62, Trump was at 34% approval on COVID when he left office, and 63% approval for Biden's COVID stimulus bill, which was passed last month. So the numbers are looking very solid for Joe Biden. I think getting infrastructure done would boost them a little bit, but infrastructure is less visible to the average person, and it also takes longer than just something gets passed and then you get $1,400. So the impact on approval may be lower. One last thought: the pause going on right now on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which we talked about earlier this week, it is giving a boost to the anti-vax people, and it will be something that we will have to wait and see the effect of. We see it impacting people anecdotally, saying, well, now I'm definitely never getting any vaccine. Seeing that on social media, that wasn't yet part of this polling information. So if we now see a reversal and vaccine hesitancy goes up, it would be important to look at whether the pause on the J&J vaccine is a factor in that. One of our sponsors today is Nebbia, the creator of the world's most innovative shower head. It uses only about half the water that other shower heads do, saving you money, helping the environment, but it's actually a lot more powerful than other shower heads on the market. It has twice the coverage of other shower heads. The water sprays with a ton of pressure. I've been using it in my bathroom at home. I love it. Only took a few minutes to set up, really easy, and it's been a totally different experience than any other shower head I've used. I can get in and out of the shower way quicker now because of how powerful it is. It only takes a few seconds to get completely rinsed off. So I was actually amazed that it's only using about half as much water. Nebbia also offers a number of shower accessories like shelves and curtains, which match perfectly with the design of the shower head. The shower head starts at just $199, but the first 100 people who go to Nebbia.com/Pakman and use code Pakman will get 15% off all Nebbia products. The link is underneath this video.